Happy Friday. Welcome back to Recoup. Today is Friday, January 16th, 2026. I'm Sweets. This is Sid. This is our Friday weekly check-in where we recap what we have been doing and plan out the next week. To kick it off, we'll start how we always do. In one word, how you feeling today? And in one sentence, what do you need today?
In one word, I'm feeling excitedly overwhelmed. All one word.
Yep.
What do I need today? I just want to make sure everything's working. That's really my just double check. And how about you?
I am feeling powerful and I also need that, which is there's something else I want to say, but that's the biggest need, is making sure everything's still working. You want to talk about your excitedly overwhelmed? What is that? Yeah, where's that feeling stemming from?
I'll show you. I have a couple of things that I'll pull up my to-do list, which is just half of it.
It's got a lot of stuff on the backlog.
It's like a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of context switching is really what is the most overwhelming portion. It's all very exciting and enjoyable, but it's just a lot of context switching, which is tough.
That's tough.
So first things first, sent over the MSA and payment link to the customer. Their general counsel is out of town this week, so when they get back, they're going to review the MSA, and then we'll kick that off. So that's still in progress, but that's been sent. I have yet to add the other artists. I have 2 customers I need to add more artists to, but you said you fixed that yesterday, so I'll have to start adding the artists today so we can test that on the call. And then I have about 10 artists to add for one customer and 3 to a trial customer. And again, like I said last time, like as I'm doing all of this, I'm realizing that like if you have a label with hundreds of artists, individually going through the create new artist workflow takes a while. So just like I'm also, while I'm doing that, thinking through like, is there a better way to do this create new artist onboarding? One, if like instead of inline and one at a time, can we kick off that flow and run parallel? So instead of the tool chain just doing it sequentially, doing it all at the same time is one thing I was thinking through. And then the other thing is like, instead of adding one artist at a time, can I give like a website or a full roster, and it will do multiple in parallel, So those are the 2 ways I've been thinking about how to speed up and make that process more special for multi artists or multi catalogs. I shipped yesterday the fixes to the Composio Recoup API that needs to be reviewed. Or all your changes I shipped. And then I need to think through this marketing template thing. Or once we get that, then just get the marketing template up and running. I got some notes from Big Ass Kids because they want to launch their agent end of this month or going into next month, but they had some small changes. They also had like a bunch of little notes about that I think are going to, not little notes. They had notes and feedback, small changes, and then they had like other feedback that I don't think they realize how big the changes are. It just is more customizations on their client of like, can you add links to and payment links to when the agent responds, things like that. Okay, so that's like a lot of that stuff. From the Gatsby point of view, I will share this because I created this because like why not share it? So I created a like not a landing page, but like just like a creative brief to kind of center everything around the artist, who she is. Here's all the songs. Here's about her. Here's all of the settings stuff. Some images to just kind of ground the world building and everything, visual style, camera style, her fashion and stuff. I created like a character one sheet, which has been really awesome when I'm creating stuff, as I feed this as a reference image, and it gives really great. It allows her to be very expressive. And then I sent you this, like just been playing around with like different ways to get content.
I wish I was a rose with a little blush.
I love that. I created this, which is fucking crazy.
Today is Tuesday, January 13th, and it's 4 p.m., and I'm getting ready to go out for dinner.
So like just messing around with like vlog style content, which is crazy. Have all of like the editorial stuff, and then basically just keeping this as like a reference guide for her. So I did that, and am now in the process of trying to figure out the best framing for the artist. And the reason why I'm going back and forth is because I don't know if you're following along with other AI artist rollouts, but there is currently an AI artist who has 3 songs in Spotify's top 50 right now. And like all the press around it is like, this is an AI artist. And like Selena Gomez like posted one of her songs, but then like once the press went around like, this is an AI artist, she like removed the song. So like it seems like AI artists who are not out front saying it is, when people dive deeper and find out, they feel juked, and then the press becomes negative and it's like, I can't believe this. So I've been going back and forth with like, how do we roll out Gatsby? Do we keep it about the music and not say it's AI? Or do we say it's AI? How do we do that? Et cetera, et cetera. Like what's the best to like long form win in this game? And I think I've landed on what I think might be short-term scary, long-term better for the building of the brand, which is don't hide that she's AI. Like, don't try to trick the audience that it's a real human. But the way that we say that it's AI is we just say she's like in her bio signed to Recoup Records or Recouper Records, and we tie that back to the Recoup page, which has like behind the scenes, and like it will show like how I'm building the artist, how we're building the platform. Like, so it's like, if you want to learn more about the artist, we're not hiding that she's AI. We're not trying to trick anybody. It's right there. But if you don't want to follow the breadcrumb, you can still just accept the music, and you can treat it as surface level. And then that way, the people who do end up following Recoupable be from Gatsby, like are truly like our ICP. It's like people who are interested in AI don't care that the music is AI. They just like think it's cool that we're building creatively with AI, And like, so that's where I'm leaning towards. Anyways, we've just been spiraling back and forth between like, do we or don't we say that? And I think I've kind of landed on that. We are gonna say it. And then from that, what else? I need to build out some burner accounts for that project. Hey guys. Hey everybody, want to say hi to the Story? Say hi, Story. Say hi, Sweets.
Hey, Sweets. Oh, hi, Sweets. Say hey.
He's shy today. And then what else? Yeah, okay. And then the strategy with that is going to be like mainly burner account strategy, and like just putting out like an album a month, and then throwing a bunch of burner accounts. So like I'm in the process of creating the burner accounts and documenting like, all of the logins and shit like that. So it's just like a lot of just administrative bullshit, like planning and et cetera and stuff. And that is why it's all very exciting, but it's very, We got to go code over here, and then I got to go think about rollout over here, and then I got to make a burner account and shit. Oh. Hey, yo, you back?
Yeah, mine popped out that time. Sounds like you're in founder mode.
I am in founder mode, yes.
The real grind, whole bunch of context switching, million different tiny things to do.
Correct. Yeah, negotiate the new thing, make a burner account, code a feature. It's fucking, yeah, exactly.
If you, to maybe help reduce some of the noise and help yourself find some calm, if there was only one thing on that list that you were going to do and everything else got chucked out the window, there was a family emergency, what would the one thing be that you would do off of that list?
We need to ship the Composio stuff.
Okay. So I'll make reviewing your code very high priority.
Yeah, if you could just make it so Recoup can do all of my tasks for me, that'd be great.
Yeah. Next step, autonomous coding agent in a sandbox and start doing more sandbox file system with bashes.
Yeah, I really like the fucking concept.
It's simple. Everything right now is simply. Ralph is simple. Bash and file systems are simple. We're going from complexity back to simplicity, which is a nice. The principles are still important. KISS principle is still important. Cool. Do you want to start by testing the artist ads, or would you like to go into review mode? I think it might be.
Whatever you think is best. I want to make sure I get through all of the stuff that you shipped as well. So maybe you want to go through your stuff and then we test. I just laid out everything I'm doing and have done. So you do the same thing so that we don't get caught up in me testing and you not explaining it.
I'll briefly share right before this. I'm working on a Ralph Wiggum loop, and this is how I run my Ralph Wiggum loops. If you're unfamiliar with Ralph Wiggum, Ralph is a simple bash script, and all that it does is it just says execute this prompt. So instead of me having to type out this prompt every time of find a task, run the unit tests, all this stuff, we execute the same prompt every time over a plan. And so we have this massive plan. I'm working on deleting all API endpoints from our Recoup chat app. And so we have identified 47 other endpoints that still live in Recoup chat that need to get migrated, tested, added docs, and deleted. And so it's quite a few tasks. I don't want to do them one by one. I was doing them one by one over Christmas break, and it was taking me days to move them one at a time. So what I do now is I just plan it out with Claude code. Claude wrote all these tasks. I didn't write them. I made the linear item so that way we could associate it with a branch. But other than that, it's all Claude code writing it. And so now what I'm going to do is I just run sh plans ralph.sh and then the number of iterations. I put in 111 just so that it has plenty of space to do whatever it wants.
Wait, are you have Claude running right now in this?
No, I don't. No. It runs, so it's running Claude right now in the background. So I just ran Ralph. And so inside of the prompt, it runs Claude. I am just running a bash script. And so each iteration, it starts a new Claude session, gets all the context it needs for that Claude session, does one task, and then exits the Claude session. Then this loop iterates again. It starts up a new Claude session. Now one task has been marked as true, it's done, and the progress has now been updated with the task that was just finished. So it can see, okay, this was the task that was just worked on. Here's the new plan that I have. I'm going to do just one task. Does the task, exits, gives me the output. Same loop happens again. So a new Claude session is spun up for each step in this plan.
Question about what? So your Ralph script and everything is in plans, and then you have progress outside of plans. Why is progress outside and not inside plans?
It's a great question. I copied that the Pocket guy, I think Matt Pocket. I copied his architecture exactly It could be the exact same, and I could move this inside. I just copied his exact architecture, and this was how he had it laid out.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't really matter.
No, it does not matter.
Got it. And then you're not, Plans is your own local repo, right? That's not a Recoup repo?
Correct. Yeah, this only lives inside of my mono repo, which so far has not been pushed. As we get into having a sandbox environment for an agent to play with, I think this entire bundle should be inside of that built image. For now, you're correct. This has not been shared with anybody.
Can you share it with me?
Yeah. However you want it, I'm happy to.
I'd love to be able to see, or just throw it in my own local version and like update it so that I can start running it. Just so we have the same exact workflow together.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I don't want to I guess I could branch out plans so that my plans locally are different than your plans locally.
That's one of the reasons I didn't want to commit it, is potentially we want to have different plans, and I don't want plans to necessarily stack together. So having it be a local thing allows us each to develop our own plans without overriding or conflicting with each other.
But I think, yeah, understanding and learning, because that's going to be the key, right? Is how do we, if we're both working on the same repo and have different plans, how do we make sure that the coding agent understands what plans you're working on, or what everybody's working on at the same time?
Right.
Yeah, but cool. This is awesome. Okay, so yeah,
it's going to run. I wanted to highlight this on the stream because I was about to do it beforehand, and I was like, oh, I'll just show it. But now this will run for the rest of the call in the background, and we won't talk about it anymore. So the big things that I have merged were related to email this week. Let me see if I can find something from Agent by Recoup. So all the changes are related to email client. All of the feedback from last Friday was fixed, including any email client can now reply, and the conversation is maintained. If you run an action, if you run a task that sends out an email, those conversations show up in the left sidebar in the recent chats. If you use what else was it? Emails sent from tasks include the prompt. So if a task is fired before when you went in and visited that thread, let me try to find one. I think that was Sid's for Hello World. This is, I believe, mine. So we can see all of these start. No, all of these are different because these are each. Different tool calls with the same task. So you can see originally it would just give the output. This was one of the earlier ones. It just said done. I sent the email and it didn't have the original prompt. As we get down later on into my more recent tests, we can see we still get the success. We also now get the prompt. So the prompt that executes task, this is the prompt that was sent in for the task. Send the email. This is my task to just send an email with the text hello world. It's right here. Send an email. There's the prompt in my task. And then you can also see it over here. And it also is right here in my recent chats. As you can see, it was highlighted when we jumped into the chat. So it's all three of those places now. Superhuman client emails are now better. In my opinion, the status right now is inbound emails are now fully complete, from tool calls, from chats, from tasks, from just sending a native inbound email. Those all work and are integrated tightly across the Recoup ecosystem for multimodal chat between the web interface and the email client. Questions or feedback on the email implementation for inbound emails?
No. This is awesome.
So we've now stated it. Sid has not given me any feedback or any blockers. So there's two ways we could go. We can say email client is done and move on to SMS client, which is the next big quarterly task. Or we say inbound email is done. Let's go into outbound email and proactively sending emails, which I think is where we should go. Do you agree that proactive outbound emails is the next step?
I do. I think getting the entire inbound, outbound architecture and system set up will make it easier for you to implement SMS because you'll have a good grasp on it all anyways.
Correct. One other thing I forgot to mention is it does say the name of the workspace now.
Nice.
That was another thing you had asked for. So now we're going into outbound proactive emails. And so the first question is, when do we send it? So my new goal is proactive outbound. How do we know when should we be sending emails to people? Is it every day everybody gets one at 8 a.m.? Is it everybody has custom schedules and so we maintain a different schedule per person? Are some people once a day? Are other people's once an hour? Or some people once a week?
I think let me talk about that real quick.
Yep.
The first thing we would do is build it so it's customizable for everyone, right? Which I think it would be with tasks, right? Are you saying what do you mean by proactive outbound emails?
I mean, it's something that people don't need to configure. You don't need to configure a task in Poke for it to send you a message every day.
On onboarding, you kind of do. During onboarding, and like it asks you if you want, what kind of emails do you want? Do you want weekly summaries? Do you want the weather every morning? Do you want and you can also go into their web client to customize it. I can actually show it. Well, let me see if I have it. Okay.
Yeah, if you can show it, that'd be great. That way I can.
It's on my. Actually, let me see if I can sign in.
Are they the ideal mental model to be trying to emulate for proactive outbound?
There's two mental models. One is ChatGPT Pulse.
Yep.
Which is a mental model that's, again, though, there is considering there's this Pulse is based off of the memory system, and the fact that ChatGPT can like parse all of the conversations and then pull and understand what the user wants Pulse, like, updates about, and then gives them a weekly Pulse. So like there's that portion of it's just like it understanding who the user is, what they're talking about, and then proactively giving them chats or pre-prompted chats that are started.
And Pulse is opt-in, opt-out, right? It's just a toggle. It's not more configurable than that.
It's opt-in, opt-out, and it's more configurable if you chat with it. I can pull it up, actually. Let me see. Am I going to be able to? It's going to be on. Well, wait, hold on. Let me see Pokey first. Pokey at AI. Is it .ai? Log in. Wait, let me just share this so that you can see the whole experience. It's sending me a verification. Do I have it? Yes. 361. All right, and here is their web app. And so you can see automations. Here's what I have set up. Monthly subscription audit, sends a monthly subscription report at 8 a.m. So these are basically tasks that they have it set up on schedule. When an email thread includes a confirmed meeting with a specific date and time, notify you with the location. It runs automatically. Sends alerts at times at Canvas. I don't know what the Canvas system is. Flight booking alerts. Always notify emails from humans. So anytime a real human sends me an email, I get a text from Pokey saying, this person emailed you. Do you want me to reply back to them. Confirmed meeting, reminder to text digest, weather alerts every day at 8 a.m. I get the weather conditions sent to me for where I am. Productivity check-ins, I'd never use those. Those suck. I should turn them off. Weekly reading recommendations is kind of dope. Daily calendar and email summary is dope. So yeah, it does have, it's basically tasks set up for proactivity, but this is all done during onboarding, and then I can customize it here. And then here's my inbox. So it like has like right inside, it shows you the Gmail, gallery. You can do custom, forwarding, daily routine. So yeah, everything's basically based off of tasks for Pokey. Let me stop there. Oh, actually, let me stop there, but let me pull up ChatGPT Pulse. And where's my Flex Pulse? Now, keep in mind, like the value of Pokey is that it is the system, the SMS system is the value of Pokey, because all of the notifications and like proactivity is based on the fact that like it's just texting me. So it's like these little simple reminders or cool little updates that like are, I enjoy getting via text instead of email or instead of web app. And then, can you see my screen? No. Let me share my screen and show you Pulse. You have Pulse, right? Like you can see that. Bob, I might as well share it. Can you see my screen? Yes. All right, Pulse is here. It's in the web app. If you click it, here's today's January 16th. Oh, it's also here, Pulse. Something practical. This is a task that I have running. I'm actually going to delete it because I don't use it, but like you can see the, so it lists like a task that's going on. But then here is a bunch of pulses. I guess these are just prompts that they've, based on what I'm talking about and what it knows about me from my other chats. It's giving me just prompts, like just starter conversations. So I can click this. Here's like a little, you know, and I'm doing this because I've asked it about multi-agent gaps, et cetera, right? Like this week's must read on agent evaluations. So the way that you can customize Pulse is here. I'll remember it for tomorrow's update. And you can write like, my upcoming plans include, keep me updated, share anything, one goal I'm working on. Yeah. And then you can click curate for tomorrow, and this pops up. So here's like the little thing. So those are the two, I guess, mental models of proactivity. Another cool proactivity one, I guess, that we can kind of like emulate. If you're here, where are you, Stop sharing? Is I just really like Vercel's proactivity of like, they just email me like when there's an anomaly, when something's going on. It's not necessarily agent based. I mean, it's their agent, but it's just like, hey, you have a spike here today, or hey, like, you know, I sent you the one of like, hey, did you know this is something that just happened? Like, you know, you can choose to ignore it or not. And so I guess basically the interesting part that we need to think through is like, I just showed you two mental models that are based on personal, not like workspace or org based notifications. And so we just, I guess like the question becomes like, what is the best way to set up the proactivity for users dependent on who they are, what their conversations are, what artists they have, who are they working on? Like, do we have enough context to be proactively valuable?
Out of the options that you've seen, which one feels like the most top tier proactive system for the music industry to be leaning on and building on top of?
That is a question I'm not sure how to answer yet. I'll pass it to you and say, like, based on what you saw, do we capture enough context from our users to give them proactive value proactively? Not just users, but you know what I'm saying.
We should. We need to think through what's our trigger. It sounds like ChatGPT is time based, once a day, whether that hour changes or not. It's a simple cron of once per day, so it's a cron. They don't do any sort of responsive things. Poke, it sounds like, also is cron based, X frequency, X hour, X day of week. And then they also have inbound email based. We'll continuously monitor your inbox. And then whenever something comes in, that fires a webhook, which then triggers the action. So 2 different forms so far. One is cron based, which both Poke and ChatGPT do, or webhook based, which is how Poke is giving you SMS updates based off of your email. And then there's Vercel, which is all webhook based for activities. An activity happens, they get a webhook, that webhook triggers an email to you. So activity triggers webhook, triggers event. There is no cron based things, unless if there is, you haven't mentioned it yet. There's is activity based with webhook triggers.
I like how you're thinking through a webhook or cron based. It seems like, just based on what we already had, the infrastructure we have, the question becomes like, what can we set up cron based, because we don't have a webhook based system yet. We'd have to build that out, which would be another layer of that, right?
Correct. And if we did, I just need to know what's the webhook we want to trigger an outbound. Do we? Yeah.
So let's not think through that yet, because that seems like there's more fog down that path that we would need to think about.
Yep.
And like the main question becomes like, I would then start with daily pulse, like ChatGPT, but I don't even know if it's daily yet, actually. Let me rephrase that. I would start with the ChatGPT one, because Poke's whole system is SMS. And so like, I don't want to compare apples to oranges yet. Like, maybe we start to think about Poke as a reference when we need it. Actually, never mind. Again, it also goes back to like, what context do we currently have? But let me say this. Let's start with cron. Let's start with like a weekly cron, because that will allow us to tweak and not over. If we don't get it right the first time, it's not every single day that we have to like iterate to get it right. Like, like we have a week in between to fix any like, oh, this isn't right, or the agent didn't get that right, or whatever. Like,
Okay.
Unless you would prefer. I'm also thinking of it through like just like testing it on actual customers. If it's us and we're testing it, just us, then like let's do it daily.
That way you and I can iterate on it faster, right? But for our customers, we don't want to annoy them.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So we'll make this week's prompt email pulse, and I'll emulate ChatGPT to build out a pulse. I guess what would be the high level items within that task that we can concretely define that we have a pulse? Is pulse opt in or opt out? Is it by default on for everybody and they have to go into our system to turn it off? Or is it by default on? So it's by default on, and then we need some way to flip it off. We could make it a task that everybody has that they can't delete, and it can only be made active and inactive. And it's just called pulse, and it's a task that everybody shares. Or we make it its own separate place, like what ChatGPT does, of give Pulse its own real estate to
I would do
clearly differentiate it from tasks.
I would do that.
Okay, so we'll make so there's a Pulse tab. So you can opt out there. You can toggle it on and off. And then you can modify it however we decide you modify it. I'll look at ChatGPT Pulse to see if they give hour of day or how they allow configuration of it. But so opting out and config will be on that Pulse tab. So we'll have a Pulse tab on the web UI. Other than that, it's going to send out an email on the frequency, and that email should emulate the same way of ChatGPT, look at all the conversations, look at all my tasks, and based off of my tasks and my conversations, send me something. Send me something. So if every day or every week we are sending the Pulse, the question that becomes, what is the prompt and what is the context for the Pulse? Is
Correct.
The prompt the same for the prompt likely needs tweaked. For now, let's imagine everybody starts off with a default prompt. What is the default prompt for our Pulse? What's a basic prompt? Is it look over my tasks and my recent chats and tell me something to help me in my day or help me in my week?
Yeah. Start there. I guess what I'm thinking is like emulate Pulse as much as you can. The addition that we need to think about is org and workspaces. And like, when do we feed that context by who, right? Like if they have orgs, is the Pulse, or for example, I have 10 orgs. Are we doing pulses per org and then customized per user? Or is it just customized per user and you're going to just bring in all my org and personal stuff?
I lean towards the latter. Do you have any
because
thoughts?
most people aren't going to have multiple orgs. And if
Even if they are, I don't think they want the noise of 10 emails. I think they would rather a concise understanding of all the orgs that you're navigating, which org you're spending the most time in, and telling you that.
And then the other thing that chat does well is that it doesn't do just one. It kind of gives you like 3 or 4 different topics based on everything it knows. But do you want to just
start buttons on the side, or where did you see those topics?
I'll show you.
Topics meaning prompts, right? Prompts for the Pulse email?
Correct. Cool. So you see January 16th is my Pulse. Yeah. And I have topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. So it's like, it's pulling all the information and saying, here's a Pulse for you based on 6-month roadmap to ARR, because I had a conversation talking about that. And then when you open it up, it's like a pre-written chat, that I can obviously chat with, but like it starts there.
Yep.
Another one is 3-line pilot pitch for label partners, because I'm working.
You got that one today as well?
Yeah, I got all of these today.
Did you get all those in your email?
No, it doesn't send emails.
It doesn't send emails. So Pulse is purely inside of chat. It doesn't do any outbound email sending?
Correct, which is our value.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
I'm leaning towards what you said, where maybe we just do one. We start with one, and it's an email. And yeah. But like what I like is they also have it in the web app, so like you can customize.
Yeah, this timeline's interesting. In the Pulse tab, we can have both the configuration, and we can show the historical pulses. I like the thumbs up and thumbs down.
Let's click. Oh wait, it's not letting me click. Hold on.
Maybe refresh the page.
So curate there.
And it seems like when you click a button, it then disables everything.
Yeah, which is weird. Actions. Oh, delete Pulse.
And if you delete it, it just goes away, and then you have to re-enable it and start from scratch?
This will permanently delete the underlying data for this Pulse. Which means this day, I guess. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's see.
So you delete, and then what do you see on Pulse?
It's taking a while. I wonder if it's deleting all of my polls.
Okay. Wow, they don't even update the page for me after you delete it.
Oh, it made new ones. Oh, this
Right,
is January.
you're right. It just deleted the day.
Yeah. So now you can see this is the other day. Okay. And so it's every day it's giving me new conversations based on this. And the value, I guess, that's a cool about it is that like the conversations are pre-populated. So like you don't get and it starts and runs a chat. It's like almost like a news feed kind of.
Yeah, and we could do a similar thing. We send one email, and that one email has a headline and a bio, and it started up 5 chats for you, and there's 5 links to Recoup where you can expand any of those chats.
Yeah, and I would literally, Sweets, copy and paste this design. Like, and they're just literally using GPT image to like create based on what this is about. Like, so like follow along with it. Like, let's not reinvent the wheel. And I also don't mind like I mean, I don't know, build it however you see fit. But I think like, yeah, it's the value is like, there is going to be I guess the value of like, if, let me give you a question or another question. So recoupable chat. Let me get rid of this. Let me sign in. If I have a pulse here, awesome. But I would really like to be able to know, well, one, like everything in the music industry is like rollout based, right? So this month, let me go to Rostrum, right? This month, there are going to be specific artists that are the key focus, right? And so if the pulse can kind of be based around, at least say like this post or this article post is based on your conversations that you're having with Gatsby. Like, so it has like the workspace that it's pulling the conversation from. So there can be like general pulses, but then like workspace specific pulses. And at least like I can know, okay, it's saying that like, for example, Gatsby, a pulse could be like, Sephora, it has this thing going on. And the reason why it's pulling that is because I'm talking with Gatsby, the chat about Sephora fans, right? But like, I think like attaching like where it's pulling that information from would be valuable.
I'm actually not finding Pulse on my ChatGPT. Is it chatgpt.com/Pulse?
Let me stop sharing and see. Yeah, chatgpt.com/Pulse.
I'm getting a 404 when I go to chatgpt.com/Pulse. It says 404 not found. It might be not available in Colombia.
Maybe. Oh no. If that's the case, did you VPN?
I could do a VPN. I was thinking about toggling it on now, but I don't want to mess with the stream settings.
So then, yeah, check to see if you need the VPN. If it works, if not, let me know. Like if I need to like send you screenshots of the UI.
That would be worst case. Worst case, I need a couple screenshots from you so that I can emulate that. But that sounds good. So I'll get the Pulse tab in. I'll get the prompts. I'm wondering, API wise, if back. Can you hear me? Testing, test. Okay. So the next question I have is Pulse its own API docs? Do we have create Pulse, update Pulse, delete Pulse, read Pulses? Or is Pulse a thing in our UI, but it's actually just a task under the hood? I'm leaning towards it's its own thing.
I agree.
Okay.
Because without this conversation, like we wouldn't have been able to differentiate between tasks and pulses without us having, and so like for clarity of users, tasks are user you like customized per user or customized and Pulse is more. I guess it's also customized per user, but it's less work for the user.
Thinking about people building their own record label, they're looking at our docs. They are wanting to be building their record label on top of Recoup's API. They see tasks, they see Pulse. They differentiate in their mind as we use tasks for X and we use Pulse for Y. How do you, if you have a developer team like Space Heater wanting to build on our API and they have that question, what's the difference between Pulse and a task? How would you express it to them?
Pulse is curated updates. Tasks are specific needs done at specific times.
That is helpful. Okay, I think I'm good to go on email Pulse coming into next week. I'm also still going to do the bigger things of deleting the APIs from Recoup chat, working on getting us a coding sandbox so that way we can just send prompts on Slack and have our coding environment not live on our local machines. That'll make us our coding. It'll help us iterate a little bit faster on the feedback we're doing. And any other things that Sid you've got for customers. Is there anything else you want to put on my radar coming into next week, or are we good to either test artist ads or flip over to your side?
I have a quick question. I don't know if it's just too much to add on to this workload already, but I just want to pose the question to get your thoughts on architecture-wise. Pulse is incredible for our customers, but it could also be incredibly useful if we were able to use it for our product to our customers. So like almost like we're building the record label and we have a group of customers that we want to use Pulse to inform. Basically talking about like, it would be incredible if Recoupable could have a Pulse that had access to our email list and every week auto send updates of like, this is new features, all customers, right? Like, but I guess, I don't know if that's a task or a Pulse. Like, I guess, is Pulse internal? I'm trying to think through like architecturally, like where we separate Recoupable features that help build the brand, help build that internal side of thing, I guess is internal, versus our Pulse feature for customers. Like, should I just sign up for Recoupable at like pretend Recoupable is a customer and then like dog food it like Recoupable is a label? And like, where would I keep all of my email list so that I can send my email list a Pulse every week, you know? You're muted. You're still
and if anything, it is a...
No, you're good. It just took a second. Go ahead.
This seems like an internal tool to me. And if anything, it's a task, not a Pulse.
So a Pulse would be, if we had all that information and it sent me an update about our users, not email blast. It's not an outbound email blast to like external users.
Correct.
It is an internal email blast to stakeholder.
One single account.
Yeah.
I do think anything that we could automate that is a recurring task that's important to you, we should be automating it the same way that we'll build a sandbox for a coding agent, automating our marketing department, continuing to create agents on our team that help take the burden off of your shoulders so that you and I can continue running a 2-person team that feels like it's on par with a big open AI that has tons of venture money and tons of headcount.
But like, I guess my question would be, how much customization of that tool would you go down, or would it be like, should we be able to do it?
We need a task to be able to get all the commits or pulls into our pull requests into our GitHub repositories. That is the main thing I think we're missing, is a tool to be able for our agent to be able to say what was merged.
Composio, once we add Composio, it has a GitHub add tool. So like we'll automatic that the Composio thing. Once we launch that, like it will it will open up a lot of fucking doors for pushing and pulling data from things. So all right, cool.
So
I'll wait.
your custom agent that
Yeah.
A custom agent or a custom task, and with a couple tools chained together, we can already do that.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, next. What do we want to jump into?
Either you talking about next week's goals for you or testing your artist ads.
Let's test artist ads real quick, and then I'll talk about it. We're gonna go. All right, so I was asking for this. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. It looks like you're in an org.
I'm in a new org that I created. What was that artist name that I?
Black Veil Brides.
Yeah, let's just use them because that was the one I was testing. Spell it. Black.
BRIDES.
Wait, what? Say it again. Black.
Victor Echo India Lima.
Oh,
Brides.
great. Oh no.
Tell it to stop and ask it what the error was. I think this is it passed in an org account, but it did not pass in an account ID. Let's see if it catches it like it usually does for me.
Wait, what do you want me to do?
Is it not replying or thinking?
It just gave me another toast error.
Oh, that's different from what usually
Should
happens.
I inspect?
Sure. Yeah, it was an incomplete message. I guess try it again from the top. Click the homepage button. Now click the new chat button. Can you expand its reasoning? Yeah, it looks like it's not passing in an artist ID, which is likely why. Can you go to the homepage, do it again, and when you type in the name, say, make sure to include account ID?
Yeah.
If this fixes it, I'll just need to update the tool to explicitly say account ID needs to be added. Make sure to include my account ID.
My account ID or artist account ID?
My. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like I need to make it more explicit that if it's using an org API key, it needs to include account ID. Create new artist. Org API key. No account ID. Because otherwise it's creating an artist for the org and not for the account. And I guess that's a question. When you created that artist, do you want it created across the org or just for you?
If I'm in an org, I want to create it across the org.
So you want every single person that signs into the org to have it?
Correct.
Got it. And we want that to always be a thing. There's never a case where we want someone in an org context to only create an artist for themselves. If they wanted to do that, they would go into their personal account.
Correct. I have yet. Yeah, exactly.
Copy. No account ID. Are you already getting further than you were before?
Yes.
And you can see it on the right already in the context of your org.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was the issue, like that you just said. You fixed everything, and then we just need to fix that little thing. Question about create new artist.
Mhm.
It's a tool chain.
Yep.
How did you build it? When you is it an endpoint? How did you build it when you added it to the API?
Copied it exactly as it was. The tool chain got moved to the back end instead of being defined on the front end.
So if I am using it, so it's an MCP tool instead of an like is basically like you need to be using our MCP to use it.
Either our API or our MCP. Actually, it's only our API. If you're using our MCP server directly, you will not get the tool chain. You have to be using our API to get the tool chain. MCP only gives the raw tools. The tool chain is included in the prepare step, which is only using our generate or our streaming chat endpoints.
Wait, so talk to me about the API version of this. Then you're saying that like it from an API perspective, you're saying it needs to use the chat API, and then it'll call that the chat API will call that tool chain.
Correct.
So like a user can't. It's all prompt based. A user can't kick off, create new artist without using chat.
They use our chat API. It's an API endpoint. So it doesn't matter if you do it via email, doesn't matter if you do it via web, doesn't matter if you directly hit the API. You just have to hit that endpoint with it that calls the create new artist tool, and then it'll do the whole tool chain. You could send an email right now and say create a new artist with the name Black Veiled Brides, and it'll do the same tool chain.
Wait, but I'm sorry, explain to me what you mean by it's an API endpoint for create new artist.
Go to developers.recoupable.com.
Yeah. Good call. Oh my goodness. All right, well, good thing this did it. It did not find any socials though. I don't know if that is.
I've been finding that consistently with Black Veil Brides. You might want to try a different artist if you want to see. We are at time, so what other final things do you want to be talking about or asking?
No, this is fine. This was the main thing. I'll dive into the documentation to figure it out. And then yeah, next week or going into next week, it is send email on Sunday. Restart email Sunday emails, or maybe I'll do a Monday emails, but like just restart Monday emails, kicking it off with the email client feature and announcement, and then what you saw on my list, get the Composio tool working on API and on web, and then set up the Gatsby marketing plan, and then the burner accounts and stuff like that. And then just talk to customers, man. Just keep talking.
It's a good thing we got customers.